People in the Czech Republic really love self-driving cars, and this video is packed with beautiful reactions to the first glimpses of Tesla full self-driving. In Europe, currently only available inside the AS, which of course stands for Actually Smart Summon. Yeah, AS is just a Trojan horse for unsupervised full self-driving, and I firmly believe that's exactly what's doing the driving here under the hood. Naturally, the European Union works tirelessly to protect its citizens from the nefarious forces of progress and innovation, and these two giants, Tesla AI and EU regulations, are going head-to-head in an epic battle throughout this video. Let's start at the beginning. For a long time, we've been able to control Tesla cars using the official Tesla app on our phones. This lets you move the car forward and backward to get it out of a tight parking space or park it like a robotaxi in spots where you couldn't even open the door to climb out. It's simple, hold the forward or backward arrows and the car moves. Even in this basic mode, you can see the advanced FSD visualizations on the screen, with the car actively scanning for obstacles and potential hazards. Despite only being able to move forwards or backwards, it's useful, sure, but pretty limited in scope. Then came Smart Summon, a feature that promised to summon your car across a parking lot, even through complex environments. But let's be honest, it didn't work really well. That's why we had to wait for the amusingly named Actually Smart Summon, which, as I mentioned, runs on Tesla's latest full self-driving software, powered by end-to-end neural networks. This means it's incredibly smart and considers everything it sees. In the US, you can use Actually Smart Summon over impressively long distances, but here in the EU, it's been over-regulated to absurd levels. Here are the known limitations. First, it's geo-locked to work only in certain areas, like parking lots. We found it works best near shopping malls and less reliably in residential parking areas. The worst limitation, though, is the distance restriction, which nerfs your smart car in two ways. First, you always have to stand within 6 meters or 20 feet of the vehicle, which would still at least allow you to walk your car like a dog on a leash if it was the only limitation. But the second one is far worse. It limits the total distance the car can travel in one go to 6 meters as well. So you can only go that far before your car stops, and only then you can reinitiate another summon maneuver. You can use Actually Smart Summon to bring your Tesla either to your location or to a manually chosen spot on the map. As you might expect, summoning the car to yourself works much worse because you have to stay ridiculously close to the car at all times. So in our first test, we're sending the car to manually selected spots one by one. Now that you know the rules, this is where the fun begins. We're picking the furthest possible target to our right, just inside the 6-meter radius around the car, while our driver is standing right next to the Tesla. First, the app alerts us that it's waiting for a pedestrian, which can only be him. But when he steps out of the way, the car slows down because he's nearing the 6-meter limit. Despite these challenges, the car completes its first fully autonomous maneuver, exiting the parking spot on its own while carefully avoiding other cars and the pedestrian. Sadly, it never reaches the target because the maximum 6-meter distance is hit, so we have to reinitiate and pick a new target destination. Again, we select the farthest possible point at the very edge of the radius. The car eagerly launches forward through the busy parking lot, carefully navigating around pedestrians and shopping cars, and even putting on a turn signal all on its own to show its intentions to move a little bit back to the right and then, on the contrary, to turn left at the intersection. It does all of these full self-driving maneuvers only to stop again due to EU regulations, just because it reached the artificially set maximum amount of distance per session. On our third actually smart summon attempt, things get a lot more interesting as a van approaches from the right. Instead of letting FSD stop the car autonomously, our nervous driver releases the button, causing the car to stop and let the van pass. After that, the car surges forward in its fastest start yet, and probably its longest session, once again stopping after roughly 6 meters. Our driver jokes about walking your car like a dog before initiating another 2 back-to-back sessions. This time he does it a little faster and more elegantly, manually stopping before re-initiating so the car doesn't have to shift into park before driving again. This approach kind of lets you bypass the 6-meter limit by metaphorically laying train tracks in front of the car, constantly moving the target forward, basically unusable. But hey, the car is driving itself. If you're impressed so far, like the video. If not, let us know in the comments. And definitely subscribe if you want to see more. As we plan our next move, a big left turn, we're starting to feel the limitations a little more closely. While the rules technically allow you to stay up to 6 meters away from the car, the reality is much stricter. You basically have to stand right next to it. If you're in front of it, it won't move because it treats you like a pedestrian. And if you're even slightly further than about 3 meters, or 10 feet, the app will warn you that you're nearing the 6-meter limit, and the car won't budge either. So the only way forward is to literally walk it like a dog on a very short leash, just like you're seeing right now. Despite all these challenges, the car remains impressively nimble, confident, and intelligent whenever it's allowed to move. These moments give us a glimpse of what full self-driving could look like in the EU. As we head deeper into the shopping mall parking lot, we encounter our most interesting scenario yet. Cars surround us, and the Tesla has to account for them and yield properly before making its next maneuver. The Go to Target button is actively being pressed right now, but it also knows that it has to wait for those cars. After planning its route, it executes perfectly. It activates the right turn signal, waits for both cars to pass, and then proceeds immediately after. When the cars slow down, the Tesla patiently creeps forward toward its target. Once they accelerate, the car does too, so quickly in fact that our driver has to break into a little jog just to keep up. We hit the max distance again, and in our next move the challenge shifts from cars to pedestrians. Now the neural nets have to consider all the people standing to the right, some of whom look like they might step into the car's path. Sure enough, one of them does. The car waits patiently, then moves forward, first cautiously, then confidently, turning heads as it goes. Be sure to replay this part multiple times and check out the people's expressions. And if you want to experience full self-driving yourself, you can get a huge discount for a new Tesla using the link in the video description. In our next, and unfortunately final maneuver, the car shakes off all remaining hesitation. It confidently nails a left turn, giving plenty of space for everyone behind it to pass. But for one guy, it's just too much ridiculousness for one day. He honks and shouts at us, sending us straight to hell. It's hilarious because while translates to something like that, the literal meaning is go to the ass, which, let's be honest, is exactly what we're doing. This was an amazing experience for me and might be one of the first instances of Tesla full self-driving neural networks actively trying to drive in Europe. If only they weren't so held back by unnecessary overregulation. 2025 is here in a few days though, and as per the most recent official Tesla AI communication on X, we should get proper FSD here in the first part of the year. So keep your fingers crossed for us, and in the meantime check out the horrifying performance of enhanced autopilot on dark Czech highways. Just don't play this video on Christmas Eve because it might just ruin your whole day. Happy holidays everyone, and see you in the next one.